find ourselves in a digital age where the past is colliding with the present. Old school video games, once thought to be relics of the past, are experiencing a new beginning. In this video, we'll delve into the cultural, technological, and emotional factors that are driving the unexpected revival of the games we thought we had left behind. If you were fortunate enough to grow up in the 90s, free from the endless scrolling of today's world, classic video games were everything you needed and more.
Video games are the latest craze to sweep the country and most of the world too. Millions of people are addicted to hours of gazing at electronic images on game screens in arcades and in their own homes.
In 1981, Americans popped in between $5 and $9 billion worth of quarters and tokens into the slots of arcade video games. Pac-Man alone digested $200 million for its manufacturer, Bally Corporation's Midway. Here's a sound to remember: the quiet ride of the silver ball, the ding of the bells as it hit the bumpers. There's a lot of us who remember pinball machines like these and pool tables like these, people my age and a little bit older. I spent a lot of time during the summer playing a pinball machine like this. And I remember the one thing about pinball machines is the score. You could always get it up to about 99,999 before it rotated back to zero. Now with electronic games, you can go to 1 million or 2 million or 9,999,999.
Games have gone from being an expression of an idea into a corporate-driven, money-seeking instrument. Designs are being driven by this.
When it comes to modern games, they often seem to lack a focus on longevity. The current model is all about the next DLC and loot crate type systems, seemingly designed more for profit than player satisfaction. But when it comes to games like Chrono Trigger, a game crafted in an era before online multiplayer, it had to rely on engaging storylines and addictive gameplay. Classics like Tetris didn't depend on additional content, but stood strong on their core gameplay alone. Their straightforward style and intuitive controls offer a welcoming contrast to the often complex nature of games today. This approachable design, far from a limitation, is a defining feature, inviting players to engage effortlessly without intricate tutorials or mechanics. Today, gamers can also download emulators on their computers for free. These emulators essentially simulate the original gaming environment, allowing users to play vintage titles without the need for the original hardware. This ease of access is a stark departure from the past, when players were restricted to the physical consoles and cartridges of the era. Emulators excel not only in recreating classic console experiences, but also in reviving the charm of retro arcade games. One notable milestone in arcade gaming history was the release of Computer Space in 1971. This marked the first commercially successful arcade computer game, derived from the inspiration of Space War, a creation by Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney. Computer Space introduced a single-player platform with dueling spaceships, earning the distinction of being the inaugural commercial video game product and the first arcade video game. No ROM is available for the original Computer Space, however, you can download a simulated version off the internet today, allowing you to play a game that is over 50 years old in just a few clicks. By embracing emulators, gamers gain the ability to relive their nostalgic experiences. Whether it's the iconic Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, or Computer Space, emulators open up a vast library of retro games to a new generation of players. Speedrunning, a subculture within the gaming community, has played a particularly influential role in turning classic games into online phenomenons. Speedrunners are gamers who aim to complete a game in the shortest time possible, often exploiting glitches or utilizing unconventional strategies to get the best time. Classic games like Super Mario Bros., The Legend of Zelda, and Metroid have become staples in the speedrunning scene, with players attempting to break records and achieve remarkable feats regarding completion times and new glitches. I began speedrunning back in 2021 with Mario 64. In fact, my initial motivation to play the game was solely to speedrun it. The current top score for the game stands at an impressive 14 minutes and 35 seconds. And if you're curious about my personal best, we don't have to talk about that. Games like Hollow Knight and Celeste draw inspiration from classic platformers, infusing modern visuals and storytelling into their gameplay. The Shovel Knight series pays homage to retro side-scrolling adventures, marrying nostalgic gameplay mechanics with a fresh and engaging storyline. Its pixel art style and controls recreates the challenging and satisfying gameplay seen in games like Mega Man. It also draws inspiration from DuckTales, featuring a pogo jump mechanic heavily inspired by the classic game.
All of teenage Tokyo seemed to beat a path to the door of the store selling its latest video game cassette in an unprecedented display of consumer frenzy. The lines outside the Tokyo shop were so long that some waited for 20 hours just for the chance to buy the latest in a series of computer games called Dragon 3.
Last year in the United States, home video game sales hit $1.1 billion, driven by the game's popularity among 8 to 14-year-old boys.
Actually, my dad plays a lot too.
The best games are the ones that have like a lot of levels and you can't pass right away. You have to take a while.
Japanese-owned Nintendo of America has emerged as the industry leader. Its high-tech, high-profit products accounted for over 70% of all home video game sales in 1987. The company expects industry sales to double this year. In 1983, earnings for the industry peaked at $3 billion. Only 2 years later, sales plummeted to a paltry $100 million.
I recently acquired the Super Famicom, a console exclusive to Japan released in 1990, for which I paid $100, for a console that was released over 30 years ago. The increasing cost of these items can be largely attributed to their aging hardware. As these older units become scarcer and more prone to wear and tear, their value rises due to heightened demand.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the artisan world. Then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
I will say, these games still offer a cheaper alternative to the latest releases that are now priced at $70 for the base game and some special editions upwards of $90 to $100. With the current market trends, I can't say I'm surprised that gamers are forgoing these expensive games to play classics again. If you grew up playing Mario Kart, Pokemon, and Golden Axe, these games simply can't be replaced. Modern games, especially large-scale AAA titles, tend to have extremely large file sizes due to their high-resolution graphics, environments, and extensive amount of content. This often results in long download times. These games also frequently receive updates and patches which can range from minor bug fixes to significant content additions, further adding to the download time. The beauty of plug-and-play games cannot be overstated. The ability to just plug in your console and insert a CD or cartridge is refreshing to say the least. And bid farewell to the internet, because you won't need it anytime soon. There's a unique satisfaction in overcoming the simple tasks of retro games, making the experience so rewarding. There are no second chances, extra armor to purchase, or upgrades to buy. You simply have to play to win. Typically you get 3 lives or so, maybe a bonus life. After that, the game is over and you lose. Since there's a limited number of opportunities to upgrade your game, it keeps the challenge simple. This engages people to keep trying until they have surpassed a certain level, boss, or challenge without any additional handouts. Take Super Mario Bros. For example. The game offers a limited number of lives, typically starting with 3, and once these lives are exhausted, it's game over. There are no upgrades you can buy or complex progression systems. Instead, players might find temporary power-ups like the Super Mushroom, Fire Flower, and Starman, but these are short-lived boosts rather than permanent enhancements. The challenge is straightforward, yet engaging. Reach the flagpole at the end of each level before time runs out, navigating through enemies and obstacles. These games, once only playable on old consoles, are now being launched on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox. Platforms like the Switch have embraced this by offering a vast library of retro games through services like Nintendo Switch Online, which includes classic NES and SNES titles. PlayStation and Xbox have also integrated classics into their ecosystem either through remastered games, backward compatibility, or subscription services like PlayStation Now and the Xbox Game Pass. Whether it's Final Fantasy, Legend of Zelda, or Halo, these games are finding new life with fans of all ages. While the gaming world continues to evolve with big new titles and experiences being released constantly, there's something special about the classics. They serve as a reminder of the roots of gaming, where imagination, challenge, and the story are the core of the experience. So whether it's the vastness of GTA 5 or the nostalgic simplicity of Mario, there's a clear reason why both types of games continue to captivate audiences worldwide. It's a rich gaming landscape out there, and there's truly something for everyone.